Good morning to Marcus Mumford and to Winston Marshall from Mumford & Sons. Thank you very much for coming on. Nag and I have been talking about this all morning because as you well know, I'm a big fan of your music, and I think listening to this latest album, you know that fine line between confidence and arrogance. I think it feels really confident because you tell me what you think. It sounds like you know you've got a big fan base out there. You know what you're doing, but it's a different sound to some of the previous albums. Does that sound right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think going into the studio now, we know what we're good at individually, we know what our bandmates are good at, so we know when to lean on each other at the right moments, and that's made for we've been very confident in the studio for exactly those reasons.
This is why you're like Wales.
Come on.
Come on.
Okay,
We've been looking forward to
so
this.
there's a story, right? Have we got the Wales pictures? And the Wales...
No. Anyway, Humpback Wales.
Humpback Wales, right? There's been some research done, and some scientists followed this pod of whales, right?
Mumford & Sons are like humpback whales.
Wait for it.
So the scientists followed the whales in 2003 and listened to how they communicate with each other, right? So listened to them, and then 2 years later went back to listen to them, and the songs they were singing had changed, and they said it was because one of the members of the groups came in and changed the perspective, and the rest of the group adapted to it. And that's what I said you guys have done with the new sound for the fourth album.
We got there in the end.
It's actually a compliment, you see.
It's a compliment.
Let's see.
I think I see
Who influenced the change in the group?
I think we all influence each other. We all play each other music all the time, and we haven't had any new members come in, which is quite a nice thing. We've done this now for 10 years together, and we started trusting each other more, trusting each other's instincts more, actually. And so I think the recording of this album was definitely the most fun we've ever had in the studio. We did it with Paul Epworth in North London at his studio, which I think is one of the best studios in the world. And all the instruments are always plugged in, so you can run over to any instrument in the whole room and just play, and it's recording. And that just breeds creativity.
So how is that reflected in this huge, ambitious tour of yours? You know, and you've decided to make it absolutely right, to the point you've had to postpone some dates at some points to make sure logistically it works and the fans get what they want. How is all of that translating?
Well, it's a bit like the making of the record. In the room, there were no sliding doors, there's no separation. So everyone in the room is involved in the making of the record, which means that there's no sort of walk of shame from the vocal booth into the control room. When you walk in, everyone's on their phones and being like, have another go, mate. So if you're in the room, you're really in the record. And it feels like more so than ever, this record's about people. And we just love people. People are awesome. So that's the main thing we love about touring, is seeing people every day. So this show's in the round, and we're right just in amongst.
So you are bang in the middle of
Right
the arena or wherever you're playing.
Yeah.
With instant kind of... you can be seen from all sides, so you feel you're really within your fans.
Yeah, it's very difficult to make these big rooms feel intimate, and you know, we've been touring for, as you say, 10 years, and we started with pubs, and it's very easy to be intimate in a pub, and getting it to this size now to try and make people feel like they're close to us, and that's how we like to play. That's been the challenge, and that's what we've always tried pushing for, to make it more and more intimate.
So I suppose those postponed dates, that's because you want to make those shows as good as you can do, is it?
No, that's just been purely logistical stuff,
okay.
which has been gutting, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
We hate letting people down, and we're also aware that there's a lot that goes into planning to go to a show. Some people travel and have hotels and flights booked, so it's basically the last thing we want to do is postpone. But we've just today announced the rescheduled dates, which are all in June, for those 4 shows, which we hope people can come to. But yeah, it's been a little bit gutting having to move them. But.
Don't worry about that. It'd be fine. The shows would be great anyway. Delta...
Just get negative PR for you.
Honestly, well, no, just be positive. So Delta is different. If you're an existing fan, new fans obviously going to hear when they'll make a judgment on it. Existing fan, does it go very far away from what they're used to? And if it does, what's your message to them?
I think it takes everything we've done. We're using all the instruments we've ever used, so from the folky instruments to the rock instruments, the synths and all these things. We were totally free in the studio, so we have all of those things. But I think it is a bit different. Some people will think it's maybe the same, and some people think it's completely different. I probably haven't got enough.
We're quite impatient as a band. We can't do the same thing again and again. So we feel sort of an urgency to try things to us that are new. I'm sure to like lots of people it won't sound that different. You know, to us it felt like a really different process. We'd start the writing of songs in different ways to what we'd done before, and we just loved it. I mean, I think we're more proud of this record than we are of any of the others, and we're more excited for people to hear it and finally for it to be out, because it's been a long time in the
I listened to it start to finish yesterday and it was great. So congratulations. I hope it really works well for you. Pardon?
Lovely. You like it,
Well,
don't
it was
you?
great, yeah. If you want
Even if you don't.
I'll be honest, I haven't heard it. I think I'll annoy you with why that's after. Mumford and Sons, their album is called... No, it's not awkward. I'm going to listen to it today.
Listen to whale music.
Yeah, exactly. Well, music was loads better. Charlie will be with me tomorrow from 6. Have a lovely day. Honestly, it was so good.
It's been really nice to see you, fellas. It's been lovely to see you.